There are some pretty gloomy predictions right now in the UK, alongside alarming economic indicators. Inflation is predicted to hit 13%. Interest rates recently saw the largest hike for 27 years. And according to the Bank of England, a 5-quarter recession that's equivalent to the 2008 downturn is ahead of us for the end of 2022. Some businesses, though, do well in a downturn, and there's no reason why that couldn't be your business. To do that, a robust business development strategy should definitely be on your agenda. So to help you with this, here's 10 tips to implement right now. The first thing to do is take stock of your customer base. Consider how resilient you might be to the ravages of recession. Are customers likely to bail out? Which ones are at most risk? How can you guard against that? And what can you offer to encourage them to remain with you? The second thing to consider is, are there segments within your current customer base that are likely to grow and require more of what you offer? And how can you find other customers that are similar? My third point is proactivity first. It's often said that businesses that invest during a downturn are more likely to survive and grow. Whilst that may be unrealistic for some, there's definitely merit in being active, whether that's with current customers or actively targeting new business. My fourth recommendation is to avoid panic decisions. We all need new business, but not at any cost. Price cutting is a negative spiral down to the bottom. Where possible, add value rather than reduce your price if you're feeling pressure to do so. What can you do to make your offering more attractive, especially versus the competition? Point 5, reduce direct overhead. Flexibility is crucial in times of hardship. Businesses that are adaptable are much more likely to endure. So consider where you've got inflexible spending that's just unnecessary. However, make sure you don't cut the expenditure that actually supports growth. Of course, I'm talking about not chopping marketing. Number 6, analyze everything. No business can afford to blindly continue investment without actually evaluating the value of doing so. And whilst we advocate continued investment, we also recommend valid analysis of your spending. Sadly, nothing's guaranteed, especially in tough times. So look very carefully at what you spend and how it contributes. That's both internal and external overhead. Tip number 7, focus on benefits. In good times, to some extent, you just need to be present and visible to win business. But when times become more challenging, you need to better articulate the value you offer. So stop telling and selling and start listening and demonstrating the benefits you offer, the challenges you overcome for your customers. Tip number 8, compare internal and external resourcing. Some decisions are tough to take. That was definitely the case during the pandemic when internal overhead came under quite a lot of pressure. Ultimately, recessions are times that demand both flexibility and productivity. You can't afford to pay for low productivity. Do you need full-time resourcing for certain tasks? Are the on-costs such as national insurance, auto-enrollment and so on justifiable? Or could an external specialist support be feasible? Tip number 9, be decisive. Delays can be costly when things turn. That doesn't necessarily mean making hasty or rash decisions, but assertiveness is important when it comes to running an efficient business, especially in a recession. So procrastinating is not usually a good strategy. And finally, tip number 10, play the long game. Perhaps this is one of the hardest of all. It's tough to take the long view, especially when cash is tight. However, recessions come and go. We've seen and weathered a few in our 22 years running GSA. We've learned from both the good and bad decisions, those of our own and of our customers, and generally we've come out of every downturn stronger. The 2008 recession was really tough, when many organizations cut their marketing spend and were really slow to return. That led us to look at overhead, resourcing, flexibility, and our core offering. And the recent pandemic was followed by 2 years of significant growth where our strategy of further service development, internationalization, and diversification really bore fruit. And once again, we're investing now. We're planning a new website, more video content like this, further services, and development of new markets. What are you and your business doing to ensure that you mitigate the impact of any prospective decline in the UK and the global economy?